The Bible doesn't give the Antichrist just one name. Instead, it uses many titles to describe him. These titles are kind of like clues. They help us understand who he is and honestly what he will do. One title is the Assyrian. This tells us he will be a powerful and cruel leader, much like the ancient Assyrian kings. Another title is the Little Horn. This means he will start small but grow strong through lies and trickery. The Bible also calls him the Man of Sin. This shows us he will turn away from God and lead others astray. He will be a master of deception, using smooth words and false miracles to gain power. He wants people to worship him instead of the true God. But the Bible warns us not to be fooled. The Antichrist will not appear as an evil figure at first. He will pretend to offer peace and solutions to the world's problems. People will be drawn to his charisma and promises. He will seem like a great leader, someone who can finally unite the world. But his peace, well, it will be a false peace. His solutions will lead to more control and oppression. The Bible says he will perform amazing signs and wonders, even making fire come down from the sky. These displays of power will deceive many, making them believe he is a god. He will establish a global system where everyone must worship him. Those who refuse will face persecution and even death. This time of great tribulation will be a test of faith, a time to choose between following the Antichrist or remaining faithful to God. The story of the Antichrist echoes the ancient story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Just as the serpent tempted Eve with the forbidden fruit, promising knowledge and power, the Antichrist will tempt humanity with promises of a better world without God. He represents the culmination of human rebellion against God, a desire to be our own gods and define good and evil for ourselves. This pursuit of forbidden knowledge and power, first seen in the garden, really reaches its peak in the Antichrist. He embodies the consequences of choosing our own way over God's way. His rise is a stark reminder that rejecting God's truth and embracing lies leads to darkness and destruction. The prophet Daniel had a vision about 4 kingdoms that would rise after the death of Alexander the Great. These kingdoms represent different regions of the ancient world: Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. Daniel saw a little horn arising from one of these kingdoms, a symbol of the Antichrist. While the Antichrist's kingdom will be global, his roots can be traced back to these ancient empires. He will embody the worst aspects of their power and ambition, seeking to establish a world-dominating empire built on control and oppression. His rise is not just a future event. It is the culmination of centuries of human history, marked by the pursuit of power and the rejection of God's authority. In the book of Revelation, John sees a vision of 7 churches. These churches represent different periods in the history of the Christian church. Each church has its own strengths and weaknesses, reflecting the spiritual climate of its time. The first church, Ephesus, represents the early church, known for its dedication and purity. The church in Smyrna endured intense persecution, symbolizing the challenges faced by early Christians. The church in Pergamos represents a time of compromise, as Christianity became intertwined with political power. Thyatira symbolizes the rise of false teachings and spiritual darkness. The last church in John's vision is Laodicea. This church represents the time period just before the return of Jesus Christ. The Laodicean church is characterized by its lukewarm faith. They are neither hot nor cold in their love for God. They are self-satisfied and complacent, unaware of their spiritual poverty. This spiritual blindness makes them vulnerable to the Antichrist's deceptions. They have lost their first love and have become more focused on material wealth and comfort than on spiritual truth. Their state is a warning to us today to examine our own hearts and make sure we are not following in their footsteps. Throughout history, certain empires have played significant roles in shaping the world. Rome, with its vast power and influence, casts a long shadow. It represents a system that combines political authority, religious influence, and military might. While not specifically named as one of the 7 churches, Rome's legacy is seen in the characteristics of some churches, particularly Pergamos, with its compromise with political power. This blending of worldly power and religious authority can lead to a dangerous departure from true faith, paving the way for deception and control. The Bible doesn't leave us without hope. Although it describes a time of great tribulation and the rise of the Antichrist, it also promises the eventual victory of good over evil. Jesus Christ will return to defeat the Antichrist and establish his eternal kingdom. The second coming will mark the end of sin, suffering, and death. Those who have remained faithful to God will live with him forever in a new heaven and a new earth. This promise of hope should encourage us to stand firm in our faith, even in the face of persecution and deception. The darkness will not last forever. The light of Christ will ultimately prevail.